In Dragon Ball Super episode 123, Vegeta broke his limits and ascended to a power beyond even Super Saiyan Blue. It was incredible. We're going to talk about Vegeta's new form, break it down, and do a deep analysis of this episode right after this message from our sponsors. Relive the magic of when Goku first achieved Super Saiyan God and surprised the entire world. Or go back in time and watch Frieza turn Golden Form and fight Goku's Super Saiyan Blue, now on the streaming service Verve and both sub and dub, which you can also take on the road without even an internet connection. Guys, the deal for 30 days free of Verve Premium has now been extended for a limited time, which you can get by clicking the link in the description. So you can go back and watch Dragon Ball Super in sub and dub, but there's tons of other amazing shows on Verve. It's not just about anime. Verve is proud to announce season 4 of Bravest Warriors. They also have awesome shows like Last Man and tons of extra comedy, news shows, science fiction, documentaries, and more. That 30-day trial won't last forever, guys, so make sure that you click the link in the description and sign up today. The episode opens up with a battered Vegeta laying on the ground after taking a brutal assault from Jiren in the last episode. He does awaken and he tells us that it's pretty obvious Jiren is not using his full strength yet. This is later in the episode confirmed by Belmod that he has still a long way to go. So Goku steps up, it's his turn, and I gotta say I am super proud of my boy Goku. Without even Kaioken on, he used actual strategy, he actually used his head and not as a weapon, and he was able to use a couple different techniques in order to almost knock Jiren off. He used this really cool new technique where he basically lays landmines of energy all around the map, and in the tournament of power where you can't fly, this is particularly effective. I'm actually really surprised that he hasn't done this before, but what he was trying to do was create an opening so that he could knock Jiren off. This was told to us several times, and Jiren steps on these mines and they just start going off. They start exploding like crazy, and Goku's standing on a mountain looking down at it like a total badass. So we get confirmation here from the sidelines that Goku knows that this attack won't kill him or damage him really, but it might throw him off to the point where Goku can throw a bunch of Kienzans before suffering some damage, but it's all part of his plan, as he actually takes a note from Krillin from episode 84 as he slices the ground underneath Jiren, and you get this nice slow motion animation of Jiren reaching out for Goku but slowly falling off the ring before Goku uses instantaneous movement and boots Jiren downwards all the way into space. Now, usually when people get knocked off in the tournament of power, they just immediately disappear, but Jiren steps on a little pebble, powers up, and launches himself back up to the ring. I gotta say that was a little OP, and it's just a testament to his strength, and unfortunately Goku's nice combo strategy did not work and he takes some major hits. I gotta say it was a dang good try though. I'm really proud of Goku, and I really like how he actually used strategy, and it's not just a brute power fight. You know, Goku actually used some techniques and some strategy to try and eliminate a far stronger opponent. That was very cool. The artist Naoki Tate obviously does this scene, as you can tell by the body weight movement and the physics behind it. He is a master of that type of animation, and it's very clear here from his art style as well that this is Tate. One of my favorite scenes in this entire episode is of Jiren powering up, and we get these nice impact frames, which I had to replay a bunch of times to see what actually happened because he just looks so evil and strong. Belmod telling us that he hasn't seen Jiren like this in quite a long time, and later telling us that he is only just starting to reveal some of his full power. So Jiren has an incredibly long way to go. We haven't even, I mean, he's probably using like 30% of his power or something at this point. I mean, I don't know if that number's correct for sure, but I feel like he's not even trying at all. Goku in base Super Saiyan Blue, like without Kaioken on top, was actually able to spar with Jiren. This is very unlike what we saw in episode 109 as Goku was getting tossed around and beaten to a pulp. It could be because Goku has fought in Jiren before, he knows how he fights now, he can analyze his movements, and potentially that is giving him the ability to take on Jiren in a far inferior form. Jiren shows us a hint of his true power by charging up a lot of energy into his fist and then using a technique very, very similar to hits, punch technique, which basically just sends this laser beam of damage through the air, blowing up a ton of mountains and surprising absolutely everyone. Okay, this animation, I just can't stop laughing. This needs to be memed and gifed right away. Somebody please meme this or make it a gif and tweet it to me, because it's the most hilarious loop I've ever seen. He's like going jackhammer on that thing. Goku is messed up, but he's not down for the count yet. It's at this point that Vegeta also stands up, gives a speech, they yell, and they start powering up. Goku goes into Kaioken. They don't say what level. Is it times 20? Is it just regular Kaioken? I mean, his aura does look really huge. And then something strange starts happening to Vegeta. This is where all of the fans of Dragon Ball Super jump out of their seats, as Vegeta explains to us that he has to keep his promise to Kaba about using the Super Dragon Balls to resurrect all of the Saiyans and going to Planet Salad, or Sadala, in order to meet the king. And that's why Vegeta says, "This is why I'll have to surpass my limits on my own way." As we see his eyes glow, he screams this tremendous roar, and all of this power, blue power, dark blue power, starts emanating everywhere. Now his eyes have pupils, he's got a different shade of darker blue, his hair coloring looks a little bit different, and he seems to be more beefy. So we get the sidelines talking about Vegeta's new form, saying that his energy seems to be much different, more unusual than regular blue, and the Great Priest telling us that he has broken through his shell, just like Goku did with Ultra Instinct. He has pulled out a power far beyond normal Super Saiyan Blue from outside of his body, but we did not really get a name for it, unless you want to call it Limit Breaker. Those are the translations that were given, so I think it's pretty safe to call this form Limit Breaker Vegeta. As of now, that is the best name that we have for it yet. Limit Breaker Vegeta, I'm okay with that. He looks badass. And there's something else about this scene that I have to point out to you guys. If you take a look at the top left and right corners, behind the Super Saiyan Blue aura, you can see Ultra Instinct aura there. So he does have the pupils, he does have some Ultra Instinct aura infused with his Super Saiyan Blue. Now they could have just done that as effects guys, may have just added that in to make it look cool, but between the pupils and some hints of Ultra Instinct aura in there, very clearly to me, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that he has awakened some Ultra Instinct power within him. And on top of both of those, the Great Priest also said he broke his shell, which was the exact words that Whis used when he described Goku's Ultra Instinct. So Goku and Vegeta, this is probably one of the most badass moments in all of Dragon Ball Super history, as they are super powered up and they're walking towards the threat that is Jiren. I was so freaking hyped, and Jiren is a total man. Like, what a boss, as he just says, come. He is not worried at all. He eggs them to come attack him, and they sure do. They fly in and throw an onslaught of beautiful attacks. Now Jiren is able to keep up with them for the most part. He does block and dodge most of these attacks. However, there is a scene here where they eventually just start to bull rush Jiren and do land a lot of hits on him. As you can see right here, Jiren is getting punched a couple times. Seeing Goku and Vegeta work in unison was amazing. It was almost emotional for me to see them pretty much equal power at this point, at least we think so, and attacking an opponent simultaneously in coordination. Well, in fact, their coordination was not that good. As Whis explained, actually their coordination was terrible, but that was throwing off Jiren. Since he couldn't really predict how they were going to attack, since they don't know how to work together, Jiren couldn't really predict like what was coming, and so that was one of the reasons that he was actually taking some hits. I was so happy with this episode to see Goku and Vegeta working together, and I'm so pumped to see what the next few episodes are gonna have in store for us with Vegeta's new form and when Goku finally reobtains Ultra Instinct for the third time. I would have really liked a better explanation about Vegeta's new form, or possibly a better name than just limit breaking power, but hey man, we'll take what we can get. Moving over to the Dispo and Frieza fight, Frieza was getting tossed around here, but as we saw, he literally took like 0 damage from Dispo's attacks. Now in the next episode preview, it shows Gohan fighting Dispo and Frieza's golden form, so I'm not really sure why Frieza is, if he's not struggling now, why he would be struggling in golden form so much so that Gohan needs to interject, but I'll be talking about that more tomorrow for the episode 124 breakdown video. And then over with Gohan 17 and Toppo, that turned out to be a pretty good fight as well. Gohan and Android 17 both obviously very strong fighters, but Toppo is stronger than both of them, and so this is turning out to be a great fight. I was pretty happy with this. The spoilers being completely wrong about Gohan having the opportunity to knock both Toppo and 17 off and not taking it, and boy, I mean, he was just like, 17 was like, hey, you gotta knock us both off, and Gohan just like, okay, and it just didn't work. But we saw a nice technique out of 17 there, using his barrier to paralyze and trap Toppo so that Gohan could blast them off. We got some great visuals and animation here of the Kamehameha pushing Toppo off the edge, but it didn't work. So I'm also not really getting the impression that Toppo is at full power yet either, so we'll have to see what develops between Android 17 versus Toppo, as they'll probably be taking each other on 1 versus 1 for at least next episode, until Toppo unleashes his like crazy power in episode 125. There's only 7 minutes left in the Tournament of Power, meaning probably 7 more episodes until the tournament is done, and man, it's like every episode just keeps getting more and more intense. I'm at the edge of my seat all of these episodes, and I can't wait to see what happens. I love this episode. I probably rate it like a 9.5 out of 10. I think some of the story writing could have been a little bit better, at least with some explanations about Vegeta's new form, and the animation was slightly inconsistent in some parts. We did get a lot of reused animation in this episode, but overall I was very, very happy with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks again to the streaming service Verve for sponsoring this video, and I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow for the Dragon Ball Super episode 124 preview video breakdown. Have a good Sunday, fellas. Peace.